Joining operation is nothing but you're joining two tuples with the help of concatenation operator. Always in slicing, so whatever the stop value that you have given, so previous to that one value, so we will be extracting. If the tuples are equal, then I will get the result as true. If it is not equal, then I will get the result as false. So I can just delete the tuple, but I cannot delete a single element from the tuple. Hello everyone, I welcome all of you to the second session on tuples. What is that we have discussed in the session 1? So please go back and check what is that we have done. Before that, I will give you a small quick recap before I start this session for all of you. So guys, we have discussed how do we create the tuple. That is what I will call it as a creation of tuples. So please remember, if I say the word tuple, you have to understand that I have to use this small parenthesis. And I can create different types of tuples: small tuple, empty tuple, nested tuples. So like this it goes on, right? So that is what we have discussed in the previous session. And also we have discussed what type of values that we can store inside the tuple. Along with that, we have also discussed how do we traverse. How do we traverse inside the tuple? So that's what we have discussed in the previous session. So I will repeat for all of you. So we have discussed how do we create the tuple. It can be an empty tuple, it can be a long tuple, or it can be a small tuple. And also we have discussed how do we store the values inside the tuple. So what type of values that I can store inside the tuple is what we have discussed in the previous session. Along with that, the last topic that I had discussed in the previous session was how do we traverse inside the tuple is what I have discussed. And also we have discussed the difference between the list, tuples and the strings, right? So this is the quick recap and the overview of the previous session, what I have done. If you have not watched it, please don't miss the session. Go back and check the video before you watch this session, right? So what is that I'll be discussing? So guys, I will be discussing some of the important operations that I can perform on tuples in today's session. Along with that, some of the functions, predefined functions and methods. So guys, this is what I'm going to discuss in today's session. I want all of you to keep a notepad next to you. You just have to write down the syntax of each and every method which I'm going to discuss in today's session for all of you, right? So let's start with the first one, that is tuple operations that I have. So what I will be doing here, joining the tuples. How do I join two tuples? So I will be using the concatenation operator, that is plus. So please observe here, I have the tuple number 1, the name of the tuple that I have taken, TP1, okay? So the name of the tuple is TP1. So please observe my parenthesis here, right? So I have parenthesis, inside that I have my elements. So this is what you need to consider it as a tuple number 1 and this is tuple number 2. So what is that I'm performing? I'm performing the concatenation operation between two tuples. Tuple 1 plus tuple 2, what will be the result? So guys, your output will be 1, 3, 5 and 6, 7, 8. So this is what you can expect the result after performing this operation. So this is how we perform the joining operation. Joining operation is nothing but you're joining two tuples with the help of concatenation operator. That's what you need to understand here. It's all about the joining operator. Moving on to the next one, slicing the tuple. Slicing the tuple in the sense what? What exactly slicing the tuple is all about? So you are dividing the tuples into multiple subtuples. So how do we do that? With the help of slicing operation, we will be able to do that. With the help of slicing operation, we will be able to divide one slice into sub-slices, right? So what is the syntax for that? So please observe, I have, so this is the tuple name that I have. So I have to give start as well as stop. This is the mandatory syntax that I have to give. Sir, what is the start and what is the stop? I have already told you, even the tuples will have the index. What is the meaning of index? Each and every item that I have inside the tuple will have the index. I will be able to access each and every item that I have inside the tuple with the help of indexing, right? So that is what I have to mention here. I have to mention from where exactly I should slice. That is what I will call it as a start, and where exactly I should stop. That is what I have to mention in the stop part. What is that you will mention, sir? The starting index as well as the stop index. That's what you need to remember. So this is the option number 1. Okay, option number 2, I have something different in this option. Please observe. I have start, stop, step. Start in the sense from where exactly you want to start. So stop in the sense where exactly you have to stop. But step in the sense what should be the difference between from one number to the next number is what I will mention in the step. But step is optional. That's what we have mentioned and we have seen in the first option. So can you give us some example? Can you take some example and demonstrate this? Of course, yes. Please write down this syntax, right? So guys, look at the tuple that I have. So I have TP1, 10, 12, 13, is it 13? No, 14, 20, 22, 24, 30, 32, 34 I have. So let me just write you the index for all of you. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is the index that you can see here, right? So if I perform slicing operation, we have also discussed in the beginning classes, we have something called backward indexing. So this is what I will call it as forward indexing. Please recollect the beginning sessions. This, if I started from 0, I will call this as forward indexing. If I start from -1, okay, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7, -8, -9. So this is what I will call it as backward indexing. So I can use either forward or backward indexing in my slicing, right? So what is that I have given here? So I have to start from 3. So always whatever I have here, so this is the start index that you have given. So I have to start the slicing from 3 and I have to stop it by -3. So how exactly it will work, sir? Can you explain that in detail, right? Look, observe here. What is that we are trying to do? So I have to start from index 3. So index 3 in the sense from here. So -3 in the sense what? Observe -1, -2, -3, but I will not take here. After that, whatever I have. So till here I will consider. So this is going to be one slice that I have extracted. So this is my result. Always in slicing, so whatever the stop value that you have given, so previous to that one value, so we will be extracting. That is what you need to remember. So always it happens in slicing. Whatever the value, suppose, imagine I have given, right? So TP1, so start value is 3 and stop value is 6. Let's imagine like this, right? So starting, so what is that I have here? 3. So 3, 4, 5. I stop value I have given 6, but I'll not take 30. I'll take till only 5, that is 24. That's what you need to understand when it comes to slicing. That's very important. All of you will make mistake here, so please have a little care in this part, right? So this is how we perform the slicing operation, right? Moving on to the next one, comparing the tuples. I will be comparing the tuple with the help of comparison operator. Is equal to. I have the two tuples A 2, 3 and B 2, 3. So I will get the result in the form of true or false. If the tuples are equal, then I will get the result as true. If it is not equal, then I will get the result as false. This is what you need to understand, right? So the next option, unpacking. That's one of the important thing that you need to remember. So how do we create the tuple first of all? So first we need to write the name of the tuple. Let's imagine my name of the tuple is T, right? Then is equal to, I'll write the parenthesis 1, 2, 3. This is how usually I create the tuples, right? The reverse way, okay? This is what we call it as a packing, okay? If you reverse the methodology, that is what I will call it as a unpacking. That is what I will call it as a unpacking. So in the same way, this is what I will call it as a variables, right? The values whatever you have, okay? So 1, 2, 3, right? If you write T, so this is what we call it as a unpacking. This is what we call it as a unpacking. That's what you need to remember. So this is what we call it as a packing. You are converting this into tuple and then you're reversing that method in back. That's what we call it as a unpacking. So hope you have understood this concept. Moving on to the next one, deleting the tuple. Please observe, I have given the tuple index. I have given the tuple index. What is this? What is this? You can observe here. Why do we use delete? The del statement of the Python is used to delete an element and object, but as the tuples are immutable, which also means that individual element of a tuple cannot be deleted. What is the meaning of it? What is the meaning of it? Let's read it once again for all of you. Del, please observe, this is the syntax that you have to remember if you are performing the delete operation. So del, okay, that is a keyword that you have to remember. So del is a statement of Python is used to delete elements and objects, but remember, but as the tuples are immutable, which also means that individual elements of the tuple cannot be deleted. You cannot give the index. You cannot give the index, you cannot delete one particular element from the tuple is what they are trying to say. Okay, so please observe, but I can delete the entire tuple. So del t1. So I can just delete the tuple, but I cannot delete a single element from the tuple is what you need to understand here. Del, I can give tuple name, so which will delete the entire elements, but I cannot do the modifications by updating or deleting the elements in the tuple, right? For example, I need to remove one element from the tuple, but I cannot delete that because immutable. It is immutable. You cannot delete one particular item in the tuple is what you need to remember, right? So that's what the example says. So you have given delete t1, okay, delete t1 of 2. So what is that we have written? So delete t1 of 2. So you want to delete the particular item what you have in the index 2, but you cannot do that is what they're trying to explain, right? Moving on to the next one, I have the methods and functions of tuples. I have predefined methods and functions. What is that I have? So I have Len method. What is that Len method? So I will be using this method, that is Len, and I'll pass this t. T is the tuple name. So it will give me the length of the tuple, which means to say that how many number of elements that you have inside the tuple. So you will get the count. That's what you need to understand, right? So moving on to the next one, I have max. So same method, like even this method also works exactly same like a Len method, but so this max method will give you the maximum value that you have inside the tuple. But please understand, only if you are using the integer, so you will get this answer, right? So that is a point that you should remember. So the next one I have min. Min will give you the minimum value that you have inside the tuple. How do you write? So you will use min function. Inside that you will give the tuple name. Say for example, I have tuple right like this. So 10, 20, 30. So this is how I have my tuple, but I will pass or I will write my command something like this, min of t. So min of t. So what is the meaning of it? So I'm passing the entire tuple inside this. So this function will find out what is the minimum value that I have. So the minimum value that I have is 10. My output will be 10 is what you need to understand. The same way for max also. I have index method. So why do I use this index method? Please observe. It returns the index of existing elements of the tuple. Please observe here. So I have to write the tuple name dot index an item. So what exactly it is? Say for example, I have t 10, 20, 30 is the tuple that I have, right? So tuple name is t dot index. Okay, and I'll just write 20. So I'll get where exactly I have stored 20 in the tuple t. I will get the index of this particular value, whatever I have written, right? To get the index of that particular value, I will be using this method, is what you need to understand, right? Moving on to the next one, I have count. So what is the use of count? Please understand, the count method returns the count of a member element or the object given in the sequence. Please understand this. Say for example, I have t is equal to 10, 20, 20, 30. So suppose if I give, right, so t dot count, so for example 20. So how many number of times 20 is present in the inside the tuple is what I will get as a result of this statement. Okay, so sequence name in the sense tuple name. Okay, you have to write the function that is count. Inside that you will pass the object. Whatever I have, I will be treating this as object is what you need to remember, right? Moving on to the next one that I have. So guys, with the help of this function, I will be able to create the tuples. Okay, tuple is a function which will help me to convert anything into tuple is what you need to remember. Say for example, I have yes is equal to string. Okay, this is what I have, right? So I will just pass it like this. So right, I'll just write like this. So if I print my t, so what will be my output? Suppose if I write like this, print t, so my output will be, so guys, what is that I have here? String. So please understand, this is how my output will be. Okay, okay, everything will be converted into tuples. That's what you need to understand. If you want to convert the string into tuples, so you will be using this function. That's what you need to understand. Okay, so guys, I think I have come to an end of tuples for all of you. This is what you should remember when it comes to the concept of tuples. Okay, if you have liked it, if I made it very short and sweet, please like and subscribe, share it with your friends. Thank you everybody.